Real estate is a very simple game. There are tried and true methods and ways to grow your business. Oops, sorry. I have this comment browser and I forget where all the buttons are for things. I need to hide the bookmark bar. Hide bookmark bar. Okay, great. And there are some very tried and true things that you that will lead to success. And um, we're going to talk about those things today and how you use Highnote to achieve those things. Now, just a little bit of a background. Uh, well, this is what we're going to do today. We're going to learn about how to double your impact, um, stand out from the competition, maximize every lead, and future-proof your business. And that's ultimately all the things we need as real estate agents. How do you get more leads? How do you retain them? But also, how do you convert these leads? And by the way, if you haven't already, we have a free guide, if you don't have this already, on how to win more listings and how to win more buyers. And hint, it's all in the presentation. And we're going to talk about why it's all in the presentation, and it's really why I built Highnote and why we build Highnote. So let's get into it. But if you stay to the end, you'll get that. There's a QR code you scan now. Just a little bit of background. I'm a real estate agent, and I'm at Christie's, Sereno in the Bay Area. I was the number 2 condo agent in San Francisco. And I was also the brokerage owner of Climb Real Estate. We grew it to a top 250 brokerage in the US in just 5 years. We got a lot of press. Here's me on NASDAQ ringing the opening bell for Zillow. And we also sold Climb to Realogy. And the promise was to grow the Climb brand throughout the country. I didn't really want to be a part of that. I said, okay, this is my baby. It's your turn now. I wanted to be a part of it, but I didn't want to work at Realogy, uh, which is now going to be Compass, which is crazy. Um, and listen, we taught hundreds of agents how to win, and we grew many, many top producers. We built a software product after this. And I'll get into that in a second. Now, look, the market's slow. I get it. But I was successful in a slow market. This star here, these are the number of home sales in the US. Uh, and at the peak, 65,000 or 650,000. Wait a minute, 650,000 a year? No, 6.5K. What is that? 65,000 a year? Anyway, there's 6.5K transactions a year. Now it's probably half of that, right? Um, and at the bottom, we started our brokerage. We said this is a great time to start because a lot of people are getting out of the business, and we're seeing the same thing now. A lot of people are getting out of the business because they can't hack this slow business, right? But the slow business and the slow times is where you make your careers. Um, and it really shows, it's going to show who has the business down and the fundamentals of the business. And so I'm going to talk about that a little bit today and all the things that you need to do to make sure that you're successful through this time. But I say it's a great time to be in business now because you're going to do things that the people leaving the business won't be able to do. And you're going to be successful when a business comes out of this rut. Now, this is where I started my brokerage in this horrible place. And but we grew it into something beautiful. And we grew it into hundreds of agents. We had so much success around us and love. It was really a great time for us. Um, and we shot up the ranks, 1 billion in volume with just 110 agents. And this is our secret. Um, in the beginning, we weren't successful, obviously. We were brand new. And we were the little funnel, right? There's a big funnel and the little funnel. We were the little one. We weren't the top agents. We were just building and growing. We weren't around for decades. Nobody knew who we were, our brokerage, nor our agents. And we were not the most experienced, right? We were in our 30s. Um, and you're up against agents who've been in it for decades. And we weren't around for a century like some of our competitors. Coldwell Banker has been around a century, right? So we were new and we felt like we were always at a disadvantage. We had a sort of a chip on our shoulder. And I think there's a lot of good things about having a chip on your shoulder. So, we went into every listing saying, how do we beat top producers? And not even just every listing, just in general, every day. How do we beat them? We cannot be top producers overnight, but how do we beat them? And the answer was, well, you got to look like a top producer first. And in every way, you got to have the car, you got to have the look, you got to have the success, and you got to have the confidence. But the main thing we found was you need a presentation that top producers use. And so you need something that looks like what a top producer would send and what they do send. And that's where we came up with Highnote. Now, what we found is when we armed our agents with great presentations, agents win more, much more. And I'm going to tell you why, right? First of all, they're gorgeous and visual. This is what a great presentation is. They're gorgeous and visual. Okay, not full of text. They're informative and they make sense. They're logical. They make sense. There's a plan that makes sense. They're on brand. Okay, everything connects. Everything from your Facebook page to the presentation all connects. And they're super highly personalized, right? They're not just generic fluff. They're targeted towards that seller or that buyer. Of course, it's very difficult to make these. Not anymore, not with Highnote. Uh, and our agents were more professional, they built trust faster, and they stood out and won every single time. Now, of course, not every single time, but much more than average. And they would beat the competition much more than average because of these great presentations, which we built into Highnote. Now, one thing we like to say is that having the best presentation turned our agents into top producers, right? It's not the only thing, but it's a key thing, right? And so, and this is the method, okay? Now, this is the appointment. One, the lead finds you, the initial email or phone call happens, then you have an in-person meeting, you have a follow-up and a close. This is how almost every appointment happens. The lead finds you, buyer or seller, but we're going to talk about seller here. Then you set up an initial email or phone call. You have an initial email or phone call to set up an appointment. Then you have the appointment, and then you follow up, and then you close them. Okay, this is always the way it works. Now, there are several opportunities to make a better impression. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to back up a second. I'm going to tell you why you want to set up a great, because you're not the only person they're contacting. If you're the only person that they're contacting, then you don't need to do much. But guess what? When they email you, they're also emailing multiple leads. I mean, agents. So you need to stand out. And the way you stand out is after this email and phone call, the first one, you send a great digital high note presentation, right? And I don't just mean a PDF. Nobody wants to read a 100 MB PDF, and they're not going to, right? And other agents, especially in our area in San Francisco, are going to have that. So you need to send something different and better. And that's where you send a high note in. Now, if you haven't gotten the email or phone call yet, you still send something ahead of time. And it could be your high note. in order to get the email or phone call. And that happens a lot too. Now, you have the in-person meeting, right? You meet with them, you walk the home, you understand their needs, you understand what they're trying to do, you understand what they think their home is worth, and you're explaining to them your services and why you. And then you have a follow-up, right? Because you need to follow up with your analysis, what you're going to do about selling the home. What's your strategy? And you need to show them the comps. And I recommend you do it after you meet them, not before. A lot of people want to send it before. I think it's a big mistake. So send it after. And what you want to do is break your sales appointment into thirds. Think about it as breaking into thirds. A lot of people, they just set an appointment and they go. And they rely on their charm and their wit and their pitch to win it. We say make it easier on yourself and more successful by breaking it up into thirds. It's a pre-sale, an in-person, and then a follow-up. And if you do this, you're going to win much more. Now, this is the two-step method that actually we figured out on our own. And I know other people do this too, especially a lot of people from Tom Ferry I've seen do this. But Chris Lim, he was my business partner at Climb, and he's the head of growth at Remax worldwide. And he does this. He sends one before and one after. And this is the best pre-listing presentation you're ever going to see, hands down. So here's the pre-listing presentation. And it starts off with getting to know you as an agent. Now, the one thing that we recommend is to share a video in the beginning because I can't get the video to work right now, but you are, you are trying to build a connection with somebody, a human, and humans connect with other humans, and you need to turn a digital experience into a personal one. That's why you're meeting in person. But sending a video is going to be huge at conversion and getting to know you and making them feel like, hey, I know you when you meet them because they need to build trust. You need to build trust with that person. And video is a great way to do that. Now, you want to talk about your team. You want to talk about your brokerage. You want to talk about, um, why your brokerage is so great. Now, I'll make a comment here. If you don't have a team, make one up, right? Do you have a significant other? Do you have an assistant? Do you have people at your brokerage who work for you or with you? They're part of your team, right? So include them. People want to see successful agents have teams. They have assistants. They have buyer reps. They have partners. It just shows that it gives a subtle reminder that you actually have a lot of business and you're backed by a lot of different people. Now, then you want to talk about why your brokerage and then any sort of special services, unique services that you provide that are different than others. So in our case, we would offer we had an interior designer who wasn't on staff, but we sent a lot of business to, right? So we provided this service, and it's really just a free consult, right? It's not a free service. We just say, hey, we have an interior designer on our team. Doesn't mean you're giving that away. It just means it's a way to position yourself as someone doing something different. And then let's see what else. So then you want to talk about your experience, and you want to pick comps or projects or listings that that are going to resonate with that seller. And so in this case, these were the projects or listings that were going to resonate with the seller. And then you want to talk about how your brokerage knows that neighborhood. So many agents are out of area agents. So, and sellers will automatically reject those out of area agents. I used to sell in one area all the time, and I would say 25% of the agents, sellers that picked picked me because I lived in that building that we're selling at. And because they thought showing could be easier, I know the building the best, etc. And then if I lived there, um, especially if I lived there, I must like it and I could sell to it better. So always give neighborhood validation. Now, navigating the home sale, marketing timeline after an offer is accepted. These are all templated out and we provide that for you. But you want to provide some information. You want to clarify to the seller how the marketing works in a sale. They don't sell homes every day. And an offer, what happens when you get an offer, right? They need to understand the process. And the most sellers have not sold a home before, right? So now preparing to so a couple of things here. This you want to personalize the listing presentation. Remember, I talked about how personalized listing presentations work. So here we include tax records. We include tax records or a title report or something I can get that they can't get. They can't find off of Zillow. And this is a good one to have because it brings up several things. One, who the owners are. So you know and you make sure that you're speaking to all the decision makers. Two, what are the key facts of the home? Size of the home, square footage, and any sort of zoning or lot size, whatever it may be. They're great points of discussion. We also can then also see when they bought the home. Are they going to be underwater or not? And bedrooms, baths, etc. So any liens, right? Things like that. You want to bring that up and show it. It shows you did some work and it's not just a generic presentation. Now, what's the value of the home? Well, the value I am not going to provide for you ahead of time. Why? Because I'm a professional. How can I provide a valuation of a home if I haven't seen the home? Sure, there's some neighborhoods in America where it's very cookie cutter and everything's new and everything's the same. They're built by the same builder. And there's no way there could be a huge differential between them. If you want to do it, then fine. But the problem is you don't know what the seller thinks their home is worth. And I don't know how many times this has happened to me, but it's happened where I've lost listings because I gave a valuation that was too low. And, you didn't see the home. You didn't realize there was this upgrade, that upgrade. You didn't realize that this had this view. You didn't realize it was the best looking home on the block, whatever it is, right? But also you didn't talk to the seller and think about and really answer your question on the value of the home based on what they think it is. Because if they think a home is worth 900,000, but you come back and say it's 850, guess what? You are not winning that listing. Every seller wants the highest price. I don't know any seller that does not want the highest price. Are they going to pick the agent that tells them they can sell it for 850 versus the agent that tells them they could sell it for 900? Of course not. I'm not saying you should buy the listing by overpromising, but you definitely don't want to send in a lower value ahead of time, especially since you could avoid the mistake just by meeting them. If you meet them and try to get an idea what they think the home is worth, right? Then oh my God, they think their home is worth 900 when the market says 850. I need to be careful with my answer, right? And you got to work your seller down, as they say, right? And there's many techniques around working the seller down. Now, next thing is NAR commission lawsuit. Talk about that. Everyone's wondering, hey, commissions are supposed to be cheaper. I don't get it. What happened? You got to explain what the commission lawsuit was about. It's very confusing. Sample listing agreement. Okay. Send this ahead of time. Why? Because it shows strength. It's called a presumptive or assumptive close. I heard it called both, where you are closing them ahead of time. You are presuming to close them. And when you send us a listing agreement or a contract ahead of time, it shows that strength. The other reason why you send it with Highnote is because we provide you analytics and we provide tracking, and we tell you when they're reading it, and what they're reading and how long. And we're going to demo that in a second. But it's great information if you know that they've been spending a lot of time reading the listing agreement. If they're spending 10 minutes in it, what does that tell you? Yeah, it tells you that they're serious. Now, testimonials, and then why me again, right? So testimonials and why me. Now, notice how this is a story. The story is me, my team, my brokerage, my services, my experience targeting your relative to your home. I know your neighborhood. We know your neighborhood, how a sale works, about your home, the value of your home. No, I'm going to tell you when I see you, how I get paid, right? And then me again. So it starts with me and it talks about a lot of other things about your services, why you're so good, and then back to you again. Now, this is what you send ahead of time. And if you don't send something like this ahead of time, you're missing out on some huge potential listings that you could be winning. I'm going to pause for a second. Any questions here? Any questions at this point? Okay, let's go forward. So after you meet and after you talk to them, right, you want to close them. And what's an average commission in your area? Everyone mention it. Everyone put a chat. What's your average listing commission in your area? What's the average commission you get on a listing in your area? Please put it in the chat if you know. 20K. Exactly. $20,000, right? And that's just average here, right? And in my area, average listing commission 30K. $30,000, 11,000. Not tiny. There's a lot of money. So let me ask you, if I was to tell you you're risking your commission if you don't send a follow-up presentation, right? Would you not send one? Of course you would, right? So don't just send one, send two. You should go for it, right? Why? Your competition is maybe sending one or nothing at all. Maybe they're sending nothing. So there's no harm at building another great presentation to beat the competition and to impress the sellers. So we would just say that was our model. Do you want to do it or not? If you don't do it, you could be risking your $20,000 commission. You have nothing to lose except thousands of dollars, okay? So this is what it looks like, the follow-up, right? Walk through property assessment. Here is we walk through your home. This is my assessment of your property. Here are my observations. And here are my recommendations, strategy. Who's the target demographic, right? There's a target demographic for every home. Is it a first-time buyer? Is it a retired couple? Is it a family, right? I'm not saying you should market to these people. That's a fair housing violation. And say perfect for families. That is a fair housing violation. I'm not saying that. However, we all know certain neighborhoods are family oriented. They're coming here for the schools. If you're selling a one-bedroom condo, guess what? It's not going to be for families. Okay, it's pretty obvious. So you need to really talk about who the target demographic is. Timing. What's the best timing? Is it a good time to put it on the market now in November? No. But can you do things now? Sure. You have maybe an off-market strategy, a coming soon strategy. I know it's very controversial, but this is the perfect time to use one. I use it now for 2 of my listings. It's not on the MLS, right? But it's available because the seller wants to sell it. We're bringing it to the MLS in the spring, right? But you want to talk about those options. Now, then give your broker price opinion. We call it broker price opinion. You could call it CMA. You could call it valuation, whatever it is. We break it up and we use the MLS spreadsheets and CMA tools, and we insert them in here and we break them up. You could do it any way you want. Cloud CMA, you could use any CMA package you want. But we show them multiple things. Neighborhood sales, everything that's happened in the neighborhood, regardless of size or price. Recent sales, anything recent, right? That you should focus on. And then we pick out the most relevant comp, right? Because there could be some that are like not relevant and some are more relevant. And a baseline comp. These are like what we would expect a home to sell for with very little effort. And then, so what's the value of the home, right? And here's a price range. It's between 2.5 and 2.6, blah, 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 blah. Whatever you want to say and however you do your comps, insert them in here. Then you want to talk about online property values. Okay, what does Zillow say your home is worth? What does Realtor.com say your home is worth? What does Redfin say your home is worth? And you got to tell them why it's wrong or right. Dangers of overpricing. Yes, I know it's you think your home is 900. The comps say it's 850. Let me tell you why it's a bad idea to put it at 900. There are other options for you if you want 900, but listing it overpriced is just going to make it worse. Why? Because you're going to sit on the market for months, and then you're just going to be getting low ballers, and then you're going to be forced to reduce your price anyway. So why not price it right and be smart? Sales and marketing calendar, and then importance of disclosure. Okay, step one, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and then importance of disclosure and reasons why your home isn't selling. Right? Really give them some tips and advice ahead of time. And then let's get started. Summary of my recommendations, sample listing agreement again, and then my team, my testimonials, and then why me. This 1-2 punch is foolproof. You are going to win many more listings with this method, and you're going to stand out and appear to be better than other agents if you do something like this. I'm going to pause for some questions. If there's none, I'm going to continue. Now, let me tell you, consequences of not having a good presentation. Lost listings and clients. Reduced client trust and confidence. Lower commission potential. Reduced referral opportunities. Limited differentiation in a competitive market. Difficulty competing against tech-savvy agents, right? So you want to have something great. Now, I know your pain. This was our pain too at our brokerage. All these agents had all this stuff they wanted to send to their seller, but they didn't do it. They couldn't make something nice. So what they ended up doing, well, there's their options. These uncustomizable reports, Cloud CMA, Moxie Present, Toolkit CMA, you could customize them once, very difficult to customize them after, right? Or you could have your marketing team build something. Guess what? That takes forever. So you give up. And what you do is you send something like this, a huge email full of links and attachments. That's what every other agent's sending, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to send something different. And this is what the seller looks at and the buyer looks at. They're like, huh? There's a lot of stuff in here. I didn't have time to read it. And then when you send it like this, you don't know what they're reading, right? You have no idea what they're reading. You don't know what they're interacting with. That reminds me, I need to do a demo of Highnote right now. But what you should send is something amazing. And you absolutely need a great presentation today, especially when the number of leads are so few now. And you got to be digital, like Highnote. So Highnote, it's a next generation real estate sales platform. It's digital, interactive, and AI. Drag and drop to build these presentations. Easy to modify on the fly. Duplicate, personalize, and deliver. Your buyer or your listing presentation is going to stand out and it's going to win. Notifications and analytics. We track everything that's being read. So you know exactly what's being read and when and what device. So let's do a little demo of that now. And let's see here. Okay. So I am going to send something now, and I am going to send an actual listing presentation that I sent out. And this is something I made. It's for this building called the Infinity. And I have some hidden sections in there, but I put a lot of stuff in here around my experience, etc. So I'm gonna make a link here, and this is how you do it. You share a link. I'm just gonna call it demo 11/5/25. And we are going to require an email to view this so I know who's accessing this. And I'm going to send this to you now on the chat. Everyone, click on the link and enter your email, and I'm going to show you what happens on my side. All right. So keep going, keep looking at it. And what you see is you get a notification in your email as well as in Highnote about about who's accessing it. I can't say that word today. And from what device. So Chris K at High Note he looked at two items, the Infinity and Meet Mark Choi. And he's on a computer. It doesn't say his browser, but now we see Yvonne and Larson opened it up one time. She's on a Safari browser, right? Ross opened it up and checked out Christie's San Francisco on a Chrome browser. Angela Lopez looked up sales and marketing approach and using an Edge browser. So you're on a Windows device. And great information, great tracking and analytics. Do you see how this could be useful before you show up to the appointment? Absolutely. There's a lot of ways that's useful. And I'm going to give you some stories on how that helped people. Now, I'm going to move forward though. Build and enhance with AI. We have great AI features. We have a new AI feature that helps you build your individual profile, your team, or your brokerage. And if you look here, you could see AI Asset Builder and individual team and company. Now, what you do is you just say next, who you are, and then you enter either a link or you upload some file, and then we'll build it for you. We'll build you a high note asset. It works really well. I'm very excited about it. It's brand new feature. It's rolling out now. And we also have many templates, built templates already. And trust and credibility, show value, show that you're tech forward, standing out. And we have a pre-listing and a follow-up one. Now, so many people have won listings with High Note, big agents, Kyle Whistle, Kenny Trong, Glenda Baker, so many top agents that use it. Now, let me also show you about the other use cases because I just spent a lot of time on the listing presentation. These are other things that people use it for, and I do too. Client updates, sending offers, open house sign-in, recruiting, marketing or digital flyers, closing docs or annual reviews. It's like having 10 tools in one, okay? Offers, I send offers with High Note. A lot of people send offers with High Note. And why do you do that? Well, it makes your offer stand out. And you could also see, is the agent reading it or not? Or the seller? If they open it and close it within 1 second, what does that tell you? It tells you your price is not high enough, right? That's an obvious thing. And so you can go back and revise your price or report back to the buyer, hey, by the way, I don't think our offer was strong enough. Here's why. Digital flyers. A lot of agents are using and building single property flyers with High Note. Here's a great one that we built and we use it to market this property. This agent in New York, and you could put in your name, your email, you can lead capture, and they use it to market their properties, right? It's a great way to do that. Why? Again, you'd see who's reading it, who you should follow up with, who's interested in the property, right? So great way to do that. Sales portfolio. I use this, and a lot of agents do, to show a portfolio of things that you're selling. Coming soon, off more in contract, for lease. I have a bunch of items for lease, and you can book a time. Your notable transactions, things have sold or leased in the past. So great ways to enhance your business. And currently for sale or for lease, we put this. Then you put your sales portfolio in the email signature, right? And you always have that there. Also, link in bio. So a lot of agents are using it to replace Linktree. Why? Because you can do it with Link. We could do it with us instead, and not have to pay Linktree. And so Kim Cannon, she has one, and she's a great sub. And this is the stuff that she has for her real estate business, right? So really great. And save money on your Linktree app. Welcome Books, right? When you have a buyer that buys a new home, or a renter that rents a home that you're maybe leasing out, having a book that talks about, you know, oh, here's how you change your utilities. Here's how you move into the home. Here's how you activate. Here's how you get your renter's insurance. And then here's how you pay. Here's the lease, etc. Okay. Great way to do that as well. Agent to agent walkthroughs. This is a great use case. An EXP agent I met, Tom Tiller, he builds these out. They're walkthrough orientations for the other agent showing the property. Why does he do this? I'll show you why. The videos are not playing on my thing. Anyway, the basically he does a walkthrough video of the home. And why? Because he can't be there. He shows these homes on Lockbox. And I'll share this with you, and you could click on it yourself. But I can't play videos on my screen right now. I don't know why. But the best thing about this use case is not that he's able to be more efficient in his showings, but he shows his new listing prospects that he does this. And guess what? Other agents are not doing this. And so he wins many listings by doing something like this. Providing a walkthrough video and all this stuff about the property, right? It's a different point of differentiation for him. Seller portal. Okay. This is a great way to update sellers with client updates. So, especially if you are still trying to prove yourself with that seller. So it starts off with listing presentation, signed agreements, initial walkthrough and video, window shade repair, right? Reporting on repairs, video about the carpet restretching, more invoices for handyman work, estimates, staging proposals, right? Painting bids, cleaner bill, paint and lighting recommendations. I mean, agents do a ton of work. This is an actual listing I have, and it's a ton of work. All the expenses, updated comps, off-market advertising, 2 offers received. Here are the offers. Updated comps again, updated comps. So it's a great place for the seller to go back to time and time again to reference materials and see how much work you've done, right? And closing docs is another great use case. Hey, congratulations, we sold your home. Closing statement, payments, and here's how you pay. Here's your mailing address. Here's all the stuff that you need to do. And it's a great way to just to stay in touch with your sellers and your past sellers or past buyers, right? Neighborhood guides. This agent made one about Greenwich, Connecticut. And she sends this off as a guide, Millennials Guide to Home Buying, Greenwich Wine Guide. It's great. This is a great way to show and to provide. And she puts a 43-page PDF right in the high note. It's fantastic. Okay, what else? Annual real estate reviews. For you, for all of you that do that, it's a great way. The ninja sellers do this a lot. So it's a way to stay in touch with your past buyers and treat them like an old client who are going to be, I mean, it's not even an old client, it's a current client. You help them buy the home. So talking about the market trends, what's going on in the market, predictions for the new year, let's catch up, stay in touch with your buyer. Okay. Open house sign in. I don't have to explain what that is, but it's a great way to have this open on your laptop to get them to sign in. Oh wait, recruiting. If you're a team or you're trying to recruit, we use this to recruit Highnote. We use Highnote to recruit to our brokerage, Climb Real Estate, all the time. And it's a great way to make your proposals and recruiting pitches stand out. Now, done for you templates. We can build any of these for you. Our most popular one is the pre-listing presentation or the pre-buyer. And the service is a one-on-one meeting, fast turnaround. You get 2 or 3 days turnaround for a draft, and you unlimited drafts, unlimited revisions. We have multiple template styles, unlimited edits. Custom PDF editing is a little extra on an hourly rate. And then you get a full Highnote tutorial and unlimited support. The other great thing is we guarantee your results for the listings and buyer presentations. If you use these presentations and you use Highnote, as we tell you, and if it doesn't help you win more, we're going to refund your money. I guarantee your results that if you do this pre-listing presentation or pre-buyer presentation and you have us build it for you and you use it the way we tell you to use it, you're going to win. And if you don't, I'll give your money back. Right. And it's more business guaranteed. This is what Highnote costs, $33.25 a month on an individual plan. If you pay annually, you might be part of a team or brokerage that already comps it for you. Congratulations. Now, each done for you presentation customized at $350. Regularly $750. We cut it to $350. And it's for one. A lot of people will buy 4. They want to do a pre-listing, pre-buyer, follow-up listing, follow-up buyer, and send those out. Okay, now, this is one of the easiest things you can do to grow your business because you spend all this time getting leads. You need to convert those leads. You have fewer leads now. The best way to convert a lead is to having a great presentation. And having a great presentation is the best way to be a great agent. Now, we have special savings, HN Web 2025. And in fact, we're having our Black Friday sale. And we give you another code if you're interested in buying. Email us if you want that other code. And email me at mark@highnote.io. Black Friday special code coming up. It's not ready yet, but I hate it when you get one discount code and then a month later it's more cheaper. So we'll give you that if you email me. And here's the guide. How to win listings before your listing appointment. How to make sure your listing appointment is successful and how to wow buyers before an appointment. It's a step-by-step guide on how to build great presentations. And but it's really the secret. So scan that. And I'm gonna pause here for questions. What questions? What things that I not cover that you would love to see? Johnny, we'll email you a new one. Email me and I'll get you a new one for Black Friday, which is coming very soon. And yeah, any other questions? Was this useful or helpful for you? What would you have liked seeing or what you didn't see that you would have loved to seen? Good. I'm glad that we were able to satisfy you guys. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. We have regular webinars every 2 weeks. Yeah, Grace says, send the follow-up presentation. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna need to meet them in person to get this signed. And I don't usually recommend doing a hard sell at the listing appointment. You could if you figure out how to do that. But you send the follow-up because you haven't signed it yet. Now, if you've signed it at the listing appointment, which some people can do, which is great, and if you can, fantastic, then of course you don't need to send a follow-up one, right? But you send a follow-up one, assuming they haven't decided yet. If they haven't decided on you, send it. And even if you think they decided on you, still send it. Because this way they'll be, one, more confident in their choice. Number two, sometimes they say they're going to go with you and then something happens. And I've had that happen before. Especially, let's say you're not last to meet, right? If you're like, let's say, one of three agents, you want to be the last agent to meet, not the first, right? Your chance of winning is if you're last goes up dramatically because they remember the last one, right? And so, but if you're not last, anything can happen. They could love you in the beginning, and then all of a sudden they meet someone else and they love them more. So you always send a follow-up presentation. Yeah. And the AI, yeah. AI, we have AI generating assets now, agent, team, and brokerage. And it works very well. You just need to give it some stuff. You just can't be like, hey, make me a presentation about me when it doesn't know anything about you. You need to give it a URL or some PDF, some presentation you already have, and it'll generate it for you. Um, some information about you, right? So, all right, cool. Any other questions? Yes, you'll get a recording. And every 2 weeks we have these webinars. We talk about AI, we talk about how to be a great agent. We have one coming up in a couple weeks as well. So, all right, we're gonna sign off here. Book a time with Chris if you need another demo and you need clarifications on pricing. If you need a discount code and you're ready to go, email me now, and then everyone will get the slides and the recording. Thank you very much, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, everyone.